Hey everybody, it's Miss Haynes. We are back with more mechanisms. Today we're going to talk about the chain and sprocket mechanism. A chain is a flexible series of connected links. Most of the chains you're going to encounter in a mechanism are going to be roller chains. Each link is like a little tiny cylinder, and on the sides you got two arms that'll connect it to the next link and so on. So you got the same little shape over and over again. When you hook them together, it is a chain. Sprockets are gears with special teeth, and they are shaped to fit in the slots in a chain. So like if you think about these being little cylinders, the little cylinder should fit in each of these like a little pocket as it goes around. Now some sprockets do intermesh with something that's more solid, like a track, something that's perforated or indented, so it's got holes in it or dents in it, so that'll roll along like that. But for our purposes, we're going to be talking about chain and sprocket. So a chain and sprocket is going to be used if you need your drive axle and your driven axle to have perfect timing, be perfectly in sync. A lot of assemblies could use a pulley and a belt, but pulleys and belts can slip if they are not perfectly calibrated or if they're getting any wear and tear. So sprocket's one way, the chain and sprocket is one way to fix that. And the cool thing about chains and sprockets, actually there's a lot of cool things. One of the cool things about chains and sprockets is that you're no longer limited by like the size of your gears. Like if I need to have an input output, the gear ratio to be like 1:1, I don't have to worry about like the size of my gears, having a large gear and a small gear because I need to space them out, or having several gears in a row and having all these idler gears moving in between. I don't have to worry about that. I can use sprockets with the diameters I need them to have, and I can just connect them with a chain instead of trying to piecemeal hundreds of other gears in between them, or trying to get a giant gear to connect to a smaller gear somewhere else or something like that. And so the chain is what determines how far apart things are, or rather, where you need your axles determines how far apart things are, and the chain just connects them. This is a SolidWorks. I used to use SolidWorks. I'm kind of jealous that other people still use it. But it's like a model with 3 gears on the inside of a chain. And so presumably one of these gears is going to drive both the other two. Your gear ratio is still determined by the number of teeth or the diameter of the input and output gears or sprockets. I like this graphic because when they're the same size, you don't increase your speed and you don't increase your torque. They stay the same. But if I make my input gear larger relative to my output gear, I'm going to increase my speed. If I make my input gear smaller relative to the output gear, I'm going to increase my torque. So I thought that was a cool picture. And there it is. Really quickly, because I didn't put it in this actual presentation yet, every single one of these sprockets here, all of their axes are going to be parallel. They're all sticking in the same direction, no matter what. These ones are like kind of both vertical. These guys are all going straight towards you. So that's how that works. So for links, the way we've got links, it's usually pretty simple to add or remove the links. Otherwise, you're not going to get the right length. Here's just some examples of links. It looks like I can attach things to these guys. There's holes to put bolts through. Here's a regular old roller link. Here's some with holes to attach things to. So there's your links. If you look at the Vex ones, like these pictures here, this is made of plastic. And so if you can get like a fingernail slid in between this arm and this cylinder part of the other guy, you can sort of just bend them very, very gently and they will come right apart. You can add or subtract links as needed. Alright, so let's keep in mind a couple things. First of all, your sprockets are never going to be meshed together directly. Their teeth and the gaps between the teeth are shaped specifically for the little cylinders in the chain. They're not shaped to turn each other directly by touching. If you've got sprockets that are inside the chain, they're always going to move the same direction if they're on the inside of the chain. So if the chain is going counterclockwise, then this gear is going counterclockwise, then this gear is going counterclockwise. If you have a sprocket on the outside of the chain, though, that one's going to go the other direction. That one's going to go clockwise while these guys are going counterclockwise, and vice versa. So where can we find these in real life? There are actually a lot of uses for them. Most of the ones they cite in like on the internet when I was like, okay, let me find a bunch of these for examples, most of the citations were vehicles. So bicycles. This is just a simple bicycle with a chain going between two sprockets. One sprocket, the drive sprocket, has the pedals on it, and the driven is down here making this wheel turn. You'll see also much more complicated gear and sprocket sets, chain and sprocket sets, like on mountain bikes where you have to shift up and down. There's several different size sprockets on this. You have these in motorcycles. You have these in some parts of cars. You have them in ATVs. Here's the chain coming down around, and the sprocket is perpendicular to your view. You've got them in track vehicles, like if there's a tank with tank treads. Here's some sprockets, and on each one of the links there are these flat pieces, and these ones have little edges they can grip with. Here's only just flat pieces. Tank treads. Conveyor systems. You can have them go horizontally. This one here is a vertical one. It's got these little scoops, these buckets, and I guess when it goes in, it goes down and scoops up the material, brings it up to the top, and dumps it back out again. But each one of these links, or every other link, has one of these buckets attached to it. And something I thought of was like chainsaws. Yeah, there's a sprocket inside of here, and on these links there are sharp teeth, and that's how chainsaws work. So there are a lot of uses for these things. You'll find them in plenty of places, mainly vehicles like bikes and motorcycles. And that is it. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. I don't know what time of day you're viewing this. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I will talk to you soon.